Hi everybody, I am JayLeonardJ, and today we're going to be talking about easily the most used pedal in my entire collection. This is my personal ProCo Rat 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another thrilling episode of Jay's A Toolbox. This segment is all about me talking about what's in my toolbox, those pieces of gear that I just keep on relying on day after day, year after year, that's really kind of found its way to be part of my tonal signature. And I share with you the story about it, kind of how I like to set it up and integrate it into my rig, and I guess give you an insight into what my perspective of tone is for me. Everyone has a different idea of what good tone is, and I get to share with you what my concept of good tone is. So today we're going to be talking about one of the oldest pedals in my collection, one of the first pedals I got. Also, it is, every time I get asked like what my desert island guitar pedal is, this is my answer. This is my ProCo Rat 2. This is from the 90s. I got it when it was new in the 90s. So it is the US made one with the LM308 chip. The new ones are made overseas. They have a different chip and the enclosure is a little bit different. But it's pretty much the same pedal. The one I have though, I don't know, maybe there's something special about it, but it's really funny. I have access to such wonderful pieces of gear, wonderful guitar pedals, but every time I tried to take this off my board, I've had different permutations of my pedal board throughout the years. Every time I try to take it off the board, it'll be off for a little bit, and inevitably, it just keeps finding its way back. It's just so ingrained in what I'm looking for when I'm playing my guitar that it's just, anything else just doesn't really scratch that itch. So very, very important pedal to me. The story about this pedal, it all takes place one lovely Christmas. I was getting into guitar, so I was maybe a couple years into it, maybe. And I had like every present that Christmas was related to guitar. So in my stockings were strings and picks and capos. I remember I got a set of strap locks, those Schaller ones, and I thought that was like a big deal, because when I would look through the guitar magazines, all the guitar players had like this little Schaller strap locks or the Dunlop ones, and I thought, oh man, I gotta get that. Well, got those. The two highlight Christmas presents I got that year were two pedals. So one was from my folks and my sister, and it was a Big Muff Pi. At the time, it was just a Big Muff Pi, but when you look at it in retrospect, it was actually a Russian black Big Muff Pi, which is quite sought after now. Obviously, I didn't know it back then, and not too long after that, I traded that pedal and like a bunch of other pedals. So embarrassing, brutal, but I guess that's how life goes. The second pedal I got, I think you can guess what it is. It came from my aunt. It was in a little box. Inside the box was a Jeff Beck CD, because he was a user of this pedal, and obviously the ProCo Rat pedal. Obviously, it was a lot prettier than this. In the years since, I lost the back plate, and I broken the foot switch a couple times, and I had to do a little bit of surgery to it like a year back. But yeah, it's pretty much the same pedal, just not quite as pretty. But yeah, ever since I've had this pedal, it's just always been just a part of my sound. It's just because of a lot of really, really wonderful characteristics it has. So for the uninitiated, the ProCo Rat is, I guess, like a distortion overdrive pedal. It's a hard clipper, so I guess most of you would classify it as a distortion pedal. But what I like about it is, one, it has this really nice versatility. So it does the low gain sound. It never does clean boost, but it does a great low gain sound with lots of clarity and lots of beautiful attack to it. And then as you turn it up, it starts turning into like this, like super harmonic, just super like sustained, really glorious rock machine. You get all those pinch harmonics and all those little lovely little extras that just make the notes jump off your fingerboard. And then as you turn it up even more towards the end, what happens is the pedal starts having trouble keeping up with your attack, so it gets a little bit more spongier and saggier, and then it turns into this like faux fuzz pedal. So it's just incredibly versatile, and I really do believe it's one of the most perfect circuits. You know, it's obviously biased, but this is what I mean. Like, get something like a fuzz face or a tube screamer or a big muff pie. Like, the modding community has come up with so many different ways and different things to do with those pedals. Like, you know, they have tube screamers with more bass response, and they could change the clipping of it to give you a different characteristics. And actually, a lot of the times, these beautiful boutique versions, modded boutique versions of pedals, where they do little tweaks to it, they sometimes, and most of the times, kind of sound better than the original in my ears a lot of the time. Not so much with the ProCo Rat. There's a thing called U Dirty Rat, which has germanium transistors to get more of a fuzzy thing. There's a Turbo Rat, which uses LED clipping. They don't sound as good as this. There's other mods people have tried this. There's a thing called the Ruitz mod, which cleans it up, adds more low end. I find that once you do that, you lose some of the nice edge and some of the nice nastiness that exists in this pedal. And I think that's why this pedal is so perfect the way it is. It's a perfect balance of like things, and you just take one thing away or you add one thing, something else diminishes. And it's just really perfect the way it is left untouched. That's why my favorite versions of this pedal are the ones that stay truest to the original design. I had a Jam Pedals build me a custom pedal board a couple of years ago. I love that thing, and it's actually since become my go-to board. But I only have one regret, and that is I use a pedal of theirs called the Rattler, which is like a rat, only it has asymmetrical clipping as opposed to symmetrical. I really wish I went for their other version of the Rattler called the Rattler LTD, which has symmetrical clipping, because I just feel like it's, that the LTD is closer to this, and something about that symmetrical clipping, something about the way it distorts, it just the way it's supposed to be. So if I could do it again, I'd put the pedal on there that sounds more like the OG Rat 2. So that's just my personal opinion, obviously, but that's how I feel about it. I like the fact that this doesn't sound like an amp. It sounds like just adding something awesome onto your sound. So that being said, let's plug this thing in, and I'm going to show you how I dial it in. Well, we're all wired up and ready to go. I'm playing through some of my favorite gear here. I got a Bad Cat Hot Cat amplifier. I got my Freeman Vintage S. I absolutely adore this guitar. I'm going into a 212 closed back cabinet, and let's go hear just the amp and the guitar, what that sounds like. That's just really nice, isn't it? I love that sound. Really good. Now let's add the ProCo Rat into the mix. Low gain, the filter acts opposite of what you'd see on a normal tone up, so it gets more rolled off the higher we get. And let's see what it does to my sound. This is clean, and then I'll turn it on. That's great. Isn't that fantastic? It is lovely. What I like about that sound is I like the attack. It has a compression to it, and it has a really quick and dynamic touch. I think that's where a lot of that, like my personal attack comes from, because playing this pedal, it really wants me to kind of go for it. I can't play smooth. But when I hit it hard, it has a chirp that I really like about it. So let's turn it up a little bit more. I usually like to ride mine actually pretty low gain, like right around here, and then I'll just turn this down till I hear just enough of the highs poking through. That's just so dynamic. It's really nice and just punchy and gorgeous. What you're going to hear, just overall EQ-wise, there's a pretty healthy loss of low end. So it really does get rid of the down low. And I think that's what makes it a little bit different than, I guess, a lot of modern pedals. Modern pedals, they really want to keep that low end, where this one, it kind of takes away, which I find works really well, especially when you're playing in a band. I think that's why I keep using this for my gigging rigs, because when I play it, I stick out. I don't get lost in the bass frequencies. I don't get lost with the keyboard player. It gets me out, and it's not a mid-range outwards. It's just nice and tight and calculated. Not like a tube screamer where it's like this really honky nasal sound. In fact, I find the mids to be quite relaxed here. Just so direct, so punchy, nice aggression, nice attack. It's just a lovely pedal. Let's turn it up a little bit more. Let's add a little delay on here. This is the Jam Pedals delay llama. Let's go even higher. You can hear as I've gone from like here to here, it's not quite as tight as it used to be. It's getting a little saggier. You hear it's a little bit tighter here. That sag continues to go as we get higher and higher. Then all of a sudden we have like a fuzz pedal. that sag, especially down the lower, thicker string. Then when I turn down the volume knob, so the way I like to set up this pedal is I actually like to get it right before it gets to that saggy section, right around here where it's still pretty darn tight. But even when I have it there, you still hear those nice harmonics poking through. And then when I roll down the volume here, check this out. It's still tight and it doesn't get overly muddy. Sometimes there's no treble bleed circuit in my guitar. But even then, when I roll down, it's not like we're something like a tube screamer when I turn those down, or a Klon. I find it gets too woofy when I turn down the volume knob with those pedals, especially when I want the higher gain settings. Here, there's still precision. Just lovely precision, lovely touch, nice clarity. It gets rid of the muck down low. It has a wonderful EQ, and it's just perfectly suited for a band. That is my ProCo Rat 2. Well, that is it. That is the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe to the page if you haven't done so already, and check out the links in the description below. Let me know. Here's a cool one for you. What is your favorite pedal in your collection? What's the one that you just can't take off the board? It's just so part of your life. Write in the comment section below. I'm curious to hear what it is, actually. That being said, I'll see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.